What is going on, you dirty sons of bitches? It is your boy, Aaron, aka that there Aaron, aka Sharpness, aka your fucking daddy. Now today, we're gonna be learning how to set up a Java botnet. Okay, now for those of you guys that don't already know, a botnet is essentially a network of connected devices or servers or whatever the fuck. And essentially you're sending commands to say servers and devices, and they're essentially doing something with the command. So let's say you send a command for each bot on your network or each device on your network to send a command or send a request to an API or something like that. Once you send that command, every single bot on your network will unanimously do that. Now we're gonna look at how to do all of this and more stuff on that. But I'm assuming you guys know like the basics of Java. You also know what a botnet is. You also know like basic networking, I guess. But yeah, let's start by creating a new folder on our desktop or wherever the fuck you want to store this project, and we're gonna name it JBot. Okay, or we can name it whatever we want to call our botnet, because you can alter it if you want to. Now inside of here, as you can see, there is nothing here. Now, if we create a new folder, actually let's not create a new folder. Let's go straight into GitHub. Okay. Let's quickly go into the main repository page. Let's then clone this entire repository. Now, if you don't know how to clone, essentially what you can do alternatively is press this code button and download the zip. If you know how to clone, you can just copy and paste this into your paste. So obviously I have git bash downloaded. If you guys don't know what git bash is, you can go ahead and download it. It's a little development tool. It's up to you if you want to download it, of course. Inside of here, we can type in we can type in git clone and then send our link here, or post that link here, and then it should download everything into here inside of this little JBot folder. As you can see, we've got everything here now. The main thing we want to look at is the command and control and the malware. Okay, now we're going to be essentially making our own command and control. We're going to compile and run it, and we're going to do the same thing with the malware. Okay, now let's start off with the basics. So what we need to do first is install Java. Not Java, sorry, we need to install Maven. We should also install Java. That is something you should also install. If you don't know what Maven is, it's basically just I don't know, dependency management kind of. Oh yeah, it says over here. So yeah, you guys can basically like look at all of this basically. Now I'm not going to go through the installation of Maven because honestly it's quite fucking long. Like I spent 2 hours trying to install this bitch. I don't know what the fuck I did wrong, and then I managed to figure it out. Like I hate setting up Windows paths and shit like that. It's overcomplicated. I hate it, fam. Anyways, once you clone everything, what you can do is either read through the get started page, which walks you through making your entire botnet or making a custom version of it at least. But we're not looking at that right now. What we're going to do is go into our IDE. We're going to open a project, okay? And then I'm going to actually delete this Git because I don't want to actually save this to Git. And what we're going to do is we're going to open it. Now we're going to go into our desktop and we're going to open up the JBot folder. We're going to start with the JBot command and control. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the command and control. Because I'm in IntelliJ, I'm going to open up both in one window. I'll show you guys how to do that if you don't already know with Maven. I'm going to take a sip of my drink, guys. Give me a minute. Okay. Now, let's wait for all of the indexing to go down, which is basically scanning the dependencies, etc, etc. While we do that, go check out my Twitter in the description, Dev Aaron, as well as yeah, just my Twitter. Also, go check out anonarchive.org. It's essentially free file storage, completely anonymous. You feel me? Links in the description as well. Don't worry, guys. This is just quick promo for me. You feel me? Now, if you want to open up multiple projects in Maven or in IntelliJ Maven, you can open up the little Maven tab over here. Press this plus sign, and in the malware bot for actually no, this is the wrong thing. I think. Is it the wrong thing? I think this is the wrong thing. This might be the wrong thing. This is probably the wrong thing. I think this might be the wrong thing I'm looking at. Hold on a minute. It's in my desktop. Yeah, this is the right one. Okay, so what we want to do is press this pom.xml. Actually, no, wait, what the fuck? Okay, or just open up the whole bot. Okay, I thought you had to select the pom, but okay, I guess not. As you can see, we've now opened up both our projects here. We've got the malware and we've got the bot. Now, this makes development so much easier. The reason I didn't want to develop a botnet in the first place or something like this project, because I had this idea for a long time, is because I didn't know that IntelliJ had this feature, so I thought I'd have to open up two tabs for this. I'd have to go back and forth, and it would just be a headache. But this is so simple, guys. You just click on what you want to go to in different sections. Now, let's start off with the basic shit. Okay, we want to create commands for our botnet. Okay, because right now, if we go into our command manager class inside of the CNC, and we go into the commands, as you can see, we've only got 4 commands, and 2 of these commands are placeholders. Now, the bots command is how you check how many bots are currently connected to your botnet or to your network. As you can see, this will get the connected bot size and display it for you. You now have the help command, which shows you all the commands on the botnet. You have the pong command, which is an example command, and you have the X command. Now, we don't want any of these 2 example commands because these are just example commands. It's recommended that you remove them because they have no actual like use, like real-time use, really and truly. So I'm going to remove them. Okay. Now that we remove that, what we're going to do is add a command, I suppose. But before we do that, let's go into main. Let's add some custom shit to it. Why not? So as you can see over here, it says developed by Aaron Actor. You can modify this if you want to. I have this here on my GitHub. It's just because why the fuck not? You can change this to sexy bitches I like. Okay. And then obviously, yeah. As you can see, I can't find this class, unfortunately. So let's check why that is. If you do get this error, what you can do is press the Maven tab, and you should be able to re-import everything by pressing this button over here. And this should fix it, I hope. No, it's still showing the error, I think. Yeah, it is. It's not indexing anymore. I don't know why that is. Should not be doing that. I've got the dependency right here. What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Let me try to re-import this shit. Okay, there seems to not be an import for it. I guess we'll leave that for now and we'll come back to it in a bit. But anyways, what you want to do to add a command, guys, simply right click the commands folder and make sure, it's very important that you only put your command in the command folder. Otherwise, the botnet will not process that command, okay? Now, you want to click new Java class, and we're going to create a normal Java class. Now we're just going to name this, what should we name this? Let's name this, let's name this, what should we name this, guys? I don't know. Let's name this, let's make this, web request command. Okay, create this class. Okay, as you guys can see, we've now got this class. What we are going to do now is type in implements, and we're going to implement the JBot command class or interface, sorry. Now we're going to press Alt Insert. If you don't have Alt Insert on Eclipse or any other IDE, you can hover over the error and it will tell you import implement methods. As you can see, you press this, and then normally it will just give you a prompt like that, or it won't. It depends. I don't think Eclipse does. However, and now you can see we've created our command. Now, all you need to do is fill in these options here. So let's start off with that first. The command is what the user has to type in to actually get this to work. We're going to name this web request. Okay. Actually, we'll make this send a web request. Okay, there you go. The description, so what this will do actually is, what we're going to do with this is we're going to have them type in something like this. Okay, they're going to type in send web request and then the URL, and every bot on the network is going to send a request to this URL. Now, I don't know why you'd want to do this. Let's say you have some sort of like API or something like that. You could do this, and you could implement response functionality, so the bot lets you know if it successfully did, and you create sort of like a pinging system. However, for the purpose of me not wanting to go over complex, I'm not going to actually implement a response system. I'm just going to implement a send command or command that just execute something. Now, what we want to do is enter a description. Now, this is just for the help screen, I guess. It tells the user what the command is about. So we'll just type in here sends a HTTP request to the target, sends a HTTP request to the target URL. And then what we will do is the admin command, if it's an admin command, sorry. So if this is an admin command, only the administrator will be able to actually execute this command, and we'll go more into how administration works. Actually, let's get into that now. So very quickly, let's get into that. So as you can see, the default config, actually no, it's in the access keys file, which is in this folder or this package. As we can see here, the first key that is pre-generated is default key 123. Now the first key in this file, not including the first line, because as you see, there's a hashtag at start, so it doesn't process this line. The first key will by default be the administration key. If you want to add a feature to implement your own admins, so like let's say a separate file that creates administrators, that you know, like creates like that tells what keys are admins, so you don't have to have just one admin key, you can do that. It's also recommended you change this default key once you've generated the file, so once you run the program. We'll get more into using it properly in a minute, but let's head over here very quickly. Let's finish this up, okay? Now, once you've done everything here, now what you want to do is enter something to do once this user has run the command. Now, here's the fun part, okay? Because we've implemented an interface and we use something called reflections, you're literally done right now. We can run this and we've got a command, okay? Literally, we don't need to do anything else once we've done this, because it automatically scans every command that's out of the commands folder, essentially. Now, inside of here, we can do some stuff, okay? So the client, so let's start with the arguments we have here, okay? First, we have args, okay? The args is essentially the arguments. So if the user types in web request 11111, by default, we split the string by spaces. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be about 6 args, give or take. And what we'd be able to do is check like if args does not equal the amount of args we want, then you know, print an error message here, or tell them the correct arguments. For this, as you see, we only have 2 arguments, so we're going to do 2. Now make sure you include the amount of arguments it would take with the actual command, because we don't process the arguments separate to the actual command, guys, so that's something very important to keep in mind. Now what we're doing is we're checking if args.length does not equal 2. If it does not equal 2, we're going to type in, this sounds very important, guys. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. First, you can either write directly to the output stream using out.print or something like that. However, I don't recommend that if you're shit at networking, okay? I recommend you type in client handler and then write to client, okay? Then you type in the message here and then you type in out here, so it implements the buffered writer. Now you can also add some cool colors and stuff, guys. Now, if you type in utilities dot color dot, as you can see, we have a bunch of colors we can use here. I'm going to use, let's say, red. Do you type in red dot to get? It's very important to type in dot get. This gets the color code you need, essentially. And then we're going to type in incorrect args. And then we're going to tell the user, please type in this. Okay, so we're going to type in web request URL. Now what we can do if we want to be a little bit more complex with it, or just a bit more better with it, really and truly, or a bit more like clean with it, you can just call the get command for the actual command here, and perhaps even develop some more shit to make it automatically print out error arguments for commands that don't meet certain requirements. It's up to you, really. I'm going to return here so that it ends after this and we don't process anything else, because the user clearly hasn't inputted a URL. Now, here's where shit gets pretty fun, okay? We can implement some functionality now. So what we want to do is start by processing the link, okay? So let's type in a final string, which is going to be the URL, and then we're going to do equals args1, because this is the argument that contains the URL, or we think contains the URL. Now, what we want to do is create a actually no, let's not do that here, that's over complex. Okay, let's just do this. Okay, we've added the URL. Okay, let's just make sure that I'm not really going to do some authentication with the URL. That's not really too important, guys. I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, now once we've got the URL, we know that, okay, the user's given us the URL, the user's entered this command. Now what we want to do is send this command to all of our bots on the botnet and tell them, okay, we want you to send a request now. This is very easy to do, actually. What we're going to do is we're going to type in utilities dot execute command to network. That's all we need to do, guys. Now we're going to type in now this is whatever we want the bot to process, okay? So we're going to type, so okay, let's look in the bot really quickly, okay? Then we also close all other tabs, and as you can see over here, okay, we can, where is it? Over here, the case, okay? Now we can add our own command here. Now let's remove this very quickly because we've removed the example command, okay? What we want to do is add a case, we're going to do, if the command sent to us, or this is going to be similar to the command system in the way args work. We're going to send an argument, which is going to be, okay, let me just do this over here. We're going to send 2 arguments, okay? We're going to send the command argument, and then we're going to send the args, okay? Now, the reason we're adding the command here is because let's say we want to have 10, 20 commands, okay? We can't just plainly send the URL to the bots and expect them to do something where we have multiple commands, because they're going to get confused. They're going to think, okay, but you're sending us a URL, but we don't know what to do with this, you feel me? So we're giving it command, basically we're giving it its own commands, basically. So we can name this over here like request. It doesn't need to be the same as we have over here. I'm just letting you guys know, basically. And if case equals request, what we're going to do is get the URL, and we always know it's going to return the URL. If it doesn't return the URL, it's going to throw an error, and it's going to just finish with the process, and it will consistently try to it will consistently read commands, so it won't disconnect if it gets an error or anything, guys, because as you can see, it handles each command in a separate thread. Now what's going to happen is we're going to type in final string URL equals, now command args is the array we store all arguments in for this. It's not args because we don't actually have I don't think we have an args here. No, we don't. Maybe I could change this to args. It's up to you guys. Let me know what you want to do, okay? Do whatever the fuck you want, okay? Anyways, let's continue. Okay, so we've got our argument here for the URL. Now what we're going to do is we're going to type in just make a simple HTTP request. Okay, so let's type in final HTTP URL connection equals let's just do this. Let's do URL.open. Oh no, new URL dot open connection. There we go. Now we're going to put this in a try with resources to obviously make it memory safe and whatnot, because you know we hate those memory leaks, guys, don't we? Dot disconnect. There we go. And I fucked up there. There you go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just do connection dot get response code, and what this does basically is when you send this request, okay, you can't just end it here, because you may not know if this actually made it to the endpoint. Now what get response code does is it wait until it actually sends the whole request, because only once the request has reached the website will it return us a response code. So this will wait for a response code. If you actually go into this, it should tell us that it's awaiting no, it doesn't say that, but this is a waiting command. So if the response code doesn't exist, it will wait until the request is sent. And if the request fails here, we likely get an exception. So let's catch an exception here. If an exception is thrown, we're not going to print shit out because, you know, fuck it. And we're just going to type in, if the connection is successful, we're going to type in boom. Okay, so the bots on our network will type in boom once they send a request. Now you can obviously make them type back to the botnet and let you know that it's done the request, but we're not doing all of that right now, guys. Let's be honest here. Now, what we want to do, I also haven't even added functionality to do that, I don't think. This is mainly because this botnet wasn't supposed to communicate directly with the botnet, with the CNC that much, because you know it was just designed to be a lightweight, you know, solution from just controlling multiple servers, not them like responding and shit like that. But obviously you can set that all up yourself. I made it so that you guys can modify it however you want. Please do that, because you know that's the point of it. You feel me? Anyways, what we're going to type in is request space and then the URL. Okay. Let's check if that is all correct, if that's the correct sort of thing we had. Yes, it is. Now, what we're going to do is once everything's been sent to the bot, we're going to type in, client handler dot write to client. We're going to say done. Let's make this a green color, and then space here. And then once it's done with that, we can build the client and run it, and the bot actually. But first, we've got the problem of this reflection shit. Don't really know why it's not importing properly. Maybe an issue with my Maven, who knows. I'll try and reload the product, I suppose. Try and reload everything, but this should be working 100,000,000%. So let's quickly reload my shit very quickly, guys. We want to make sure that it's working. You're also going to need Maven to compile the project, guys, so make sure you have downloaded it, because if you skip downloading Maven, then you're not going to be able to really do shit, okay? So please keep that in mind, okay? So I'm rebooting the IDE very quickly because for some reason the dependency wasn't actually processing. I don't know why, but we'll check that out very quickly. I'll actually pause the video and come back to you guys when it's still loaded. Okay, guys, it should all be fixed now. Simply rebooted it. All I've got to do is retype in reflections, and as you can see, it's all done now. So what we now can do is build everything. So what we want to do is head over into our JBot folder. We want to start by going into the command and control, right clicking it and typing in git bash here. What we want to type in now is mvn clean package. If you have Maven installed, this will work completely. What we can do while that compiles is go into the malware bot and do the same thing in here. We're going to git bash into it, or you can cmd into it. It's up to you guys. Git bash is just a lot easier because you can open it in the folder, I suppose. And you can do clean package again. Now, if we don't want to do clean package, which basically delete everything in the compiled folder and then recompile and then compiles everything, you can actually just type in clean package. You can just type in Maven package, which is, I think, faster. I'm not sure if it's faster when nothing's been compiled yet, or only when something has been compiled, but it's up to you guys. So that should be all done. So what we now can do is let's start by running the bot, shall we? Let's run the bot. So what we can do is let's actually already get bashed in here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so let's cd into the target directory. Let's type in java -jar bot 1.0 and then another dash. Now what we want to do is run the with dependencies file, okay? In the malware, it doesn't really matter because I don't think the malware has any dependencies. No, it does not. So you can really compile it from your IDE if you really want to. However, I'm just going to run the with the dependencies because it's downloading that anyways. What they should do is set everything up for us. I'm actually going to do the same thing here. Target, and then let's get ready to. So this is actually running now. Let me actually open this in a new tab so you guys can see properly. Or not in a new tab, on a clear screen. So this is actually running right now, guys. We're actually in it right now. So what we need to do is open up the CNC. As soon as we start the CNC, guys, it's going to download. It's not going to download. It's going to set up all of the files we need. It's going to set up. Actually, let me just put this in a separate folder so you guys can see. Actually, I'm going to name this J. Actually, this K. Okay, fuck. I already typed it in. Fuck. Okay. CDK. What the fuck do you mean now? Oh, it's in the malware, that's right. Okay, so this just makes it a little bit easier for you guys to see. Okay, that's nice. Let me reopen this shit. Let's put this in its own directory so you guys can see all the files being generated and shit like that. What we now can do is cdh, and then we can type in java -jar cnc with dependencies.jar. Now we need to type in two arguments. As you can see, we need to type in the CNC port and the bot port. So the CNC port is the port you will connect to connect to the command and control area. So we'll make this 100. Why not? And then we have the bot port. Now the bot port is hard coded into the actual software. Okay, in the bot at least. The bot by default asks for two things: your host and your bot port. Now, when compiling your the botnet, let's assume you're running this on remote servers or remote devices. You want to make sure you change the host to your command and control server IP address. So this could be 1.1.1.1 or 194.194.68.68. It could be anything. And you want to enter the port for the bot port. Now the bot port by default is 120. So we can put in 120 in here, and this should boot it up, but we're not going to run it just yet because I want to say one more thing. It's important, you should probably change the encryption key here. You can change this to whatever you want, as well as the password. These are just defaults. And what this essentially does is prevents people from network sniffing. Now obviously in the long run this probably doesn't do anything, but it probably doesn't do anything significant. At least it just adds more runtime. But what can happen is, let's assume that you're maliciously running this. The ISP or the user would actually be able to see your data going in and out. They'd be able to see that you're sending suspicious packets to them, and they'll be able to read what's in those packets completely, like without any struggle. This just makes it that much harder for them to do it. Like, they could probably decompile it and find it very easily, but it just adds that extra layer of network security in case someone doesn't have access to the file. They can only see it on the network. This does also hide it, as well as you may be transferring some sensitive data over, and you don't want anyone that's on the network listening to what you're sending. Now, to actually change it in the CNC, let's start this all very quickly. As you can see, it runs up easily. We add sexy bitches I like. As you can see, everything started here. One bot connected, which is us. As you can see over here, we're going to start spamming zeros, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, we're not. We're not print them. So what's going to happen now is we actually connect. As you can see, 0.0.0.1, Europe London, that's me. Windows 10, AMD 64, that's my architecture. Now, when we go in here, we see jconfig. We see two things here. We see jkeys. As you can see, this key will by default be the admin key. So let's change this to fuck1. Okay. Now, keep in mind, guys, you don't need to restart the bot every time you change something in here, because I'm not a 12-year-old who developed this like a fucking 12-year-old, okay? What you can do is just change it in here, then try to log in again if you want to change it real time. Literally easy as, okay? The config is a bit more complex though, because obviously there's a lot more data here. Now, there's some information here. As you can see, if you change the bot password or encryption key, make sure you also change it in the bot. Now, if you change something inside of here, like the encryption key, make sure that you change it in here as well. Otherwise, they won't be able to communicate with each other or understand each other. The password is also very important. This is what prevents people from spamming fake bot connections to you, basically. It's sort of like a password authentication. That's exactly what it is, password authentication, essentially. Now, you can obviously store like more difficult passwords, obviously, shit like that. But yeah, essentially this is the basic. Now, what we can do is start by jumping into our putty. Now, what our putty will do is allow us to essentially, it will allow us to access the CNC. What we will want to do now is enter the IP address. Now, the IP address is 127.0.0.1. As you can see, this is because we're running it locally. Now, the port is 100 as we set over here. And then you want to make sure you set the protocol to raw, okay, and that's very important. Now open, and this will open. Now the access key is what we typed in. As you can see, we didn't reboot the server or anything, so all we need to do is type in fuck1 as we changed it to, and we've been authenticated. As you can see, we've connected. We can type in help, and this will display all our commands very easily. As you can see, send web request. Let's type that into here. Let's send https google.com. As you can see, it should say it here as well. Boom. There you go, guys. Guess what, bitches? You've created your first botnet. Haha. Now, simple as, really. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please drop a like, star the repository. If you don't star the repository, I'm quite upset, because I put a lot of hard work and effort into this, guys. And the fact that you guys will not like fucking star the repository for a project that you guys might like, you know, it's very hurtful, you know. And yeah, my GitHub also has a bunch of tools for you noobs. Go check it out. Please subscribe on all of that shit. Don't subscribe to this channel. Fuck this channel. Go subscribe to my other channel, DevAaron. Links in the description, okay? AK youtube.aaronactor.me. Everything's in the description, guys. Look in the description, please. Thank you very much. Goodbye. JBot's in the description as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye. Fuck you, bitches. Ha ha ha.